Welcome to Sister Scoop, where we are giving you the big Marvel news for the week. And we've had an exciting week getting right into our first topic. We got our very first look at Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this looks like it's going to be so fun. A little bit odd in that it's not a usual studio who's typically producing Spider-Man related, content. It's obviously usually Marvel Studios, Sony, or Sony Animation who's doing it. So it's a little odd that it's going to be on Prime. I'm thrilled. I have Prime, so I'm going to be
Yeah.
watching it. But it's kind of that piece to me is a little odd, but I think it looks really interesting. I think the character's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about Nick Cage playing the character in live action as well, but no shade against Nick Cage. I always pictured Spider-Man Noir a little younger than that, so I think it'll just be a different take on the character than I think I was immediately picturing. But overall, I think just general excitement and interest in how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that very first picture that they've released looked really good. I don't really know much about this variant or version of Spider-Man, but obviously what we know from Spider-Verse, like we've never seen him unmasked.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if he's gonna unmask in this. I don't know the character enough, like I said, quite frankly, to be able to say yes or no. If he never unmasks, I'm not bothered. But
Yeah.
I'm on the same page as you with the like I think we said this when the news first broke. Like interesting. We'll see how it plays out. But the first look itself looks great.
Yeah, because I think the character, and I too don't know the character super well. Like, I'll do more research before the show comes out, but it could be that the character is older, and he's like kind of like Jake Johnson's version of Peter Parker. Like, he's been through some things, and that could be so. It could be totally like comic accurate that Nick Cage is doing that because he is later in life. But I just don't know the character, so because of that, like and he's not unmasked in the movie, I just pictured someone younger. So it could just be like me projecting something that I interpreted onto a character, but more to come. Like I said, I'm excited. I mean, the black and white looks great. I think that's a really cool stylistic choice. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some interesting stuff with it, and I'm excited to cover it.
Yeah, I think the black and white. I love a good black and white moment. So
Yeah.
I saw that still, and honestly, if it had not said the first look at the movie version of it, I would have you could have told me almost that was from like the multiverse movie or something of that nature, because if you don't really look too closely at it, it's so well done that you don't notice that it's actually a person versus animation. So if that's how the whole movie looks, I think it's going to be at least good stylistically. We'll obviously have to see also like what a script looks like and stuff like that.
Well, it's going to
Lots of
be a
things that go
show,
into it.
right? Not a
Oh,
movie.
I'm sorry. Yes, a show.
I was genuinely asking because I was like, now you're making
No,
me
I
question
do think
myself.
it is a show. I do
Okay.
think it is, because that's why I'm pretty sure that's part of why it is Prime, because I think it's gonna be a show.
That's what I thought
Yes.
too. But then, like I said, you made me question myself. I was like, wait a minute, did I
No, I
completely?
forgot. I forgot.
It
But
happens.
anyway, moving on to our next topic. We've got Daredevil news. We love this because I think about once a month we have Daredevil news, and I love that we have like a two rounder on this one. I love that we're constantly getting new news about this. This is great. I go ahead because I know you wanna.
Yeah. So Kingpin himself has confirmed that they are in the early stages of thinking about season 3 and laying it out, which is great. I think, season 1 wasn't without its issues or challenges, but overall, I think people were relatively happy with it. I think the fans, especially of the Netflix show, who were probably going to be the most critical audience, I think overall people were like, all right, cool. This is a sequel, quote unquote, that is worthy of the original. Cool, got the stamp of approval. We've known for a while that they've been filming season 2, but it's awesome that they're already starting to think about later seasons. I will say, like, this show seems to be kind of the door in, or like the example of what the studio wants to do with shows that are maybe a little bit more removed from the larger MCU narrative, but then also more seasonal. Like, they want to be more annual, the way that traditional television has always been done, less of these like mini series that they really started out on Disney Plus with. And it seems like Daredevil has really been kind of the vehicle for starting that ball rolling. I couldn't be happier. But in my opinion, the bigger piece of news, because I almost lost my mind, was that Jessica Jones is back. She is going to be, she was officially announced to be in season 2, which is amazing. And when they announce things like this, I always feel like if you're announcing something this big, like you brought Kristen Ritter out on stage, then what aren't you telling us? Because that's a big thing to not like surprise and delight fans with in the middle of the season or even like episode 1 or 2. I don't care when you do it. So, with that being said, I don't think you're going to bring back Jessica Jones without bringing back Mike Coulter as Luke Cage because one, they're not married yet, but they are married in comics. And two, he's like another one that people really, really liked. Like, everybody generally liked the Defenders universe with the exception of Iron Fist. So it would suck if they like left Mike Coulter out. And I think that's why this is an interesting piece of news because I think in announcing Kristen Ritter, you can almost say, all right, at some point we're going to see Luke Cage because you're not going to bring just one of the other two like really highly beloved Defenders back and not the other.
So you said a lot there, and we don't have a lot of time for me to say my piece on
this.
There's
a lot to break
down. But I'm going to more so talk about the second piece there. I honestly think, yes, it can sometimes be what are they not saying to us? But honestly, quite frankly, my perspective of it was we all kind of knew the direction it was going to go. Yeah. I think when you have Daredevil, who had 3 previous seasons on Netflix, who also did, what was it? It was 2 seasons of Defenders, or was it just one?
Just the one.
Okay, then I like lost brain cells somewhere else into another. I don't know. Maybe I really got stuck on Iron Fist that long, and I just I'm not sure. But I feel like when you already have that character cross over with these other characters, and now you just set a massive threat up in New York City, I feel like you can't really avoid. Bless you. Like you can't really avoid that them coming in. Like that's what we talked about at the end of this season. We were like, what are you going to do? What are you really going to do? You're going to sit here and tell me that they aren't in New York City? Like, yeah. So to me, as soon as I heard the announcement, I was like, well, yeah, to me, that's just, nobody was shocked. No, I would never have been shocked if she showed up on our screen. I would have been like, yeah, I would be more shocked if we went through an entire second season and her or Luke Cage or honestly Iron Fist, if that's what they want to do, don't show up. Like that'd be weird. So
I agree. I just think it's interesting that they announced it this early versus letting it be a surprise.
I think they have a lot of set photos that have been getting leaked, and I think they just yeah.
That's fair.
All right, moving on to our last one, because this goes to our next piece of content that's coming out at the end of this month, or I'm sorry, we're in May, at the end of June. I don't know where we are. My birthday hasn't happened yet, so I don't know how that. Yeah,
it's hard.
But Riri Williams, Ironheart, we got our first trailer. It actually, on a sad side, kind of broke the record for like it was something about like the closest time between release and like first trailer release, which I was like, yeah, what the heck? I think it was like 48 days or something, if that. But we do have a trailer officially that dropped literally today when we're recording this.
And it looks super fun. Like, I don't know why Marvel sat on this long. I think she's going to be an interesting character. It's produced by Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler has literally never missed once in his entire career. So this is going to be a great show. Like, I have all the confidence in him in the world. I think she is unfortunately a character who's lost a lot of momentum because it's been so many years since she was introduced in the MCU. But I think just even looking at the trailer, I think it's going to be a different way than I would have expected to have her character in, bringing in some of the magical elements into a very tech-heavy show. I think is kind of an unexpected way in. I'm excited. And I think everybody should be excited. And it's a bummer that they haven't done as much promotion on this show as they have some of the others. I think it gives a lot of people the confidence to say that Marvel isn't confident in the show just because of the way that they've marketed it, and that's a bummer to have that some people go into it with that perspective.
Yeah, I was watching the trailer and I was also kind of intrigued by it. I will say, I don't think I realized Ryan Coogler was doing it, so once I kind of had that actually settle in my brain, that actually boosted my confidence more in the show. mainly because if you guys aren't familiar, which you should be, but if you're not, obviously Ryan Coogler did the Black Panther movies. If you guys for some reason didn't watch those, he just did Sinners, which I know has literally been blowing up in the movie theaters because it should. It's an amazing movie. Go watch it if you haven't. I'll watch it 17 more times. But Ryan Coogler is amazing at what he does. And so I think knowing that he was behind this project actually is what made me more confident in it. But I do agree. I think as communications majors, I feel like at some point we need to do almost a whole episode just studying how their marketing or lack of marketing for certain movies and shows really does change perception of them. So a show like this, who already had a character who I've been honest on this podcast before, I don't care about as much because, to your point, she lost momentum. Honestly, you could never talk to me about Riri Williams again. And not because I don't want to learn about her, but because I forgot about her. I just really, like, if we went forward, I never would have remembered she happened unless I watched Black Panther 2 again. So I think when you have that kind of thought process, I just think there's a lot going into it. Either way, the trailer looks interesting enough. Again, Ryan Coogler, that name has me sat. So we'll just have to see what happens with it, how the show goes. We don't know how it's premiering just yet, to my knowledge. So we'll keep you guys updated on that piece. But as of right now, just go watch the trailer, get interested in it. I'm sure it's going to be good.
I'm manifesting it's a sleeper. It's like one that everybody's like, oh, like not that excited about, and then turns out to be like amazing and incredible. Kind of how we felt about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Like we have literally never been less enthused about a project, and then we're so obsessed with it. I'm hoping that 2025 is the year of Marvel sleepers in terms of the shows, because the movies, I think we expected a few of them to be really good. So we're hopeful still, but with the show with the shows, I think that I'd be cool with them being like, this is the year of projects that maybe we didn't market as well, with the exception of Daredevil, because that one got a lot of marketing, but everything else, like, oh, we didn't promote it as much, but then it turned out to be like kind of amazing. So that's fine if that's the theme. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, I'm like I said, Ryan Coogler being tied to this, I'm ready.
Yeah,
so
doesn't miss.
Hopefully we get a little bit more. I actually would prefer if at this point we didn't get much more on the show, because I mean, like, promote it, but I don't want to see more scenes because we're so close at this point. Let me go in and not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's my preferred state. But either way, that has been this week's Sister Scoop. Come back next week as we will have 3 more Marvel news topics for you guys as they're coming out. And I believe when this is airing, we are still in our Thunderbolts era, but we're just about wrapping it up because we will also then be going on vacation. So we're going to have some R&R, much needed. From
no Sister Scoop next week because we're going to be on a cruise.
Don't come next week. Don't come next week. Come the week after. My bad. But that has been this week's Sister Scoop. We'll see you guys not next week, but the week after. Bye.